Welcome to another episode, baby. Students of the game, episode 6. We back again. Let's get it. Genetics versus epigenetics. For those who don't know what epigenetics is, it's basically your environment, the way you raised, your diet, your nutrition, your training, and how it affects you overall. So, which is more important? Because I like genetics too, but the real cheat code, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, epigenetics can take you even farther than genetics. And you mix that with performance selection, and then over time, you creating dogs that can do fabulous things. And it's already been done with a lot of different breeds. But we're just gonna get into it tonight. And let me just let you guys know, just to clarify you, I'm not a scientist. I'm not gonna be using a lot of big words. I don't do that right here. We're just gonna use general things. I'm gonna use metaphors. Like I say, I'm not no scientist, but I just have intuition and common sense on certain things. Okay, so genetics is like, let me look at my notes, y'all. Let me look at my notes, y'all. Hopefully, y'all had an amazing Tuesday. Um, Basically, the definition of epigenetics is the study of how your behavior and environment can cause changes that affect the way your genes actually work. While genetics is just the basic DNA sequence, the letters of your code. So we all got our DNA. Some of it is more dominant, some of it is more recessive, you know. So that's why you see a dog, they might be a cold dog. It might take them 3-4 years to really start hunting. They call that cold. You know what I mean? Not a cur. A cur is like a quitter. You know, so everybody develops at different times. That's why genetics is just amazing. And shout out to Lee Robinson for putting it out there, because you ever watch a Bruce Lee movie and get real hype, or some John Claude Van Damme? When Lee be coming up with the genetics things, I'll be like, because it's hard. Like it's like real detailed information, but he make it sound easy. I'll be listening to it. I'll be like, yeah. I'll be getting hype, boy. I'll be thinking I'm like a scientist, bro. I'll be using all types of big words. I'll be like a Leo this and this and this. So shout out to Lee Robinson. But I'm not able to do it like Lee Robinson, bro. I'm just doing it on the basic thing. We just gonna have some fun. So basically, yeah. So your diet, what you eat, how you train, the way you think, your environment. So in the dog world, if you're the handler, so that's epigenetics right there. So how you talk to your dog, what you say to your dog, are you patient with your dog? Are you always correcting your dog? Are you always talking to your dog like they dumb? Are you always making excuses for your dog? Do you got kennel blindness? All these things has an effect on your dog. And it can bring out the genes in a good way or a bad way. It can express those genes. What you eat. Do you overfeed your dog? That's going to decide their health. That's going to decide their performance. Are you eating the right thing? Is your dog getting all the nutrients? La-di-da-di-yada, okay? Are you training your dog? Are you teaching your dog? Are you teaching your dog how to do things? Are you feeling sorry for your dog? Are you always feeling sorry for your dog? Like I said, making excuses for your dog. Oh, my dog is just a puppy. He a year and a half. Oh, he's just a puppy. He's just a puppy. All these things is affecting the genes and how they operate, whether we believe it or not. That's why I say genetics matter, but epigenetics is the real cheat code, because once you really get into it, and I talked before about how we can overcome experience. So as you gain experience with your dog, you might be a school counselor and understand psychology dealing with students, right? So you carry that over. You might not have a lot of experience with dogs, but you might carry that experience over. That's what people don't talk about too. That's what we're going to get deeper into this, because I've been hearing a lot of things that people talk about certain experiences, but experiences is transcending. Because like I said, if you started just dealing with dogs for 5 years, for 20 years prior, you was in the military, you was a counselor. So all those experiences that you gain in life carries over to the dog world. You feel me? So you take those similar strategies, because a lot of things, believe it or not, when it comes to like what they call positive reinforcement in dogs, when you train them, it works in people as well. So if you was positively reinforcing your children and just your environment in general, you're going to pick up the training real fast. So you might have 5 years. Another person might have 20 years in dogs, but who really got more experience? That's why you got to tap into your own personal epigenetics. And as y'all come in and y'all see this live later, to help the algorithm, subscribe, leave a comment. Nowadays, if y'all notice, I'll be leaving voice comments too, because they just added it. So that's genetics. So like I said, we talk about training, we talk about diet, and we just talk about the personality of the handler that's actually dealing with them. Because I'm going to be keeping it being with you. If you're the type person that everything, you always get angry real fast and everything gets on your nerves and you just like so frustrated all the time and you don't got no patience, you're not going to, I'm telling you, you can have all the experience in the world. You're not going to beat a person that's real patient, that love to do what they do, that's real enthusiastic, that's building up the bond. Because people know, if you're getting on their nerves, a dog gonna know that, man, I ain't messing with him. Now, dogs are super loyal. They ain't exactly like humans, but after a while, your aura and your personality rubs off on your dog. If you always nervous and if you always nervous and just like, you know, if you always nervous and like say, if you always just like a nervous person and you just don't know how to handle yourself in public, a lot of times that's why you getting in certain situations where your dog is actually where your dog is actually like is frustrated, because a lot of that has to do with you. That's shout out to Caesar Milan. That's why he always just stay calm, and that's one of the best advices you can have, is just stay calm. If you like a nervous person and your nerves is all crazy, you're gonna pass those traits on to your dog, believe it or not. And the opposite is true. You're nice and relaxed, that can help. Now, that's not the end all be all. You're gonna have to still train your dog and teach your dog, but these are the game changers that I'm telling y'all. Now, you have your phenotype, right? So your dog might be fawn, your dog might be brindle. Okay, that's the phenotype, and that's just your genes. That's the way it is. Or your dog might be 28 inches tall. You know, that's just what it's gonna be. But say if your dog was 28 inches tall, right? But you wanted your dog to perform better. Okay, so you come up with your program or you get it from somebody else and you implement it, epigenetics, the environment, you implement this game plan and you start to notice that your dog might have been kind of tall, but they might not have been as athletic. But you do certain exercises with them and then their athleticism increases. Not saying that their athleticism is going to be crazy off the chain like a pit bull or Malinois, but their athleticism got that much better. They can start jumping. You might want to do a sport like agility and certain things like that for a bigger size. Now, like I say, if you're doing agility with a 28-inch dog or something like that, compared to like a border collie, they're not going to compete with them. But for their size, they can still do good. And then say if you just keep doing it over and over and over, and you breed with other dogs, that's the same breed, but you get what I'm saying? And then eventually, all the kids would be like that. And before you know it, you just get better and better and better. And then you never know. And then you'll start to see the gap close. You might not, like I said, you won't be like a border collie or nothing, but you'll still be good. So that's the great thing that epigenetics really allows you to do. And it sounds like a big word, but really it is just your environment. You know what I mean? It's all it is just your environment and how you and how you affect things in your environment. Like for instance, or when you take your dogs out for a walk, you on a flirt pole, all those things right there allows your dog to develop. Because we all see like a person that is not really active with their dog, and then we'll see a person that's active with their dog, and you'll see their muscles and they'll look totally different. Hold on one second, y'all. Chakra, quiet. I'm doing this short live. Let me get it off. Genetics versus epigenetics. So yeah, so that's the great thing right there, right? Okay, so you got, like I said, you got your genetics, you got the size of your dog. Now, most dogs have an ideal weight. Of course, they got an ideal weight because that can fluctuate, but your height ain't really gonna fluctuate like that. If you 28 inches, then you 28 inches. If you brindle, then you brindle. If you fawn, then you fawn. If you're leggy, you're leggy. If your muzzle was a certain length, then your muzzle was a certain length. So that's just your genetics, and that's what they're gonna stay on there. Now, genetics from a performance selection does matter. Like I said, genetics does matter because say if you got an American Bulldog, right? We see a lot of American Bulldogs, and they working dogs, right? But some of them, their muzzles aren't as long as, it's an obvious difference in some of their muzzles. Some of them is real short. So you know that's going to affect their breathing and as far as their ability to deal with the heat. So with that right there, genetics is important. But say if you got a American Bulldog where their muzzle is, say if you got the normal size and then you got one that's maybe a little bit smaller. Now, the one that's a little bit smaller, if they both exercise and eat the same thing, then of course the one with the longer muzzle outdo the one with the little bit smaller muzzle. But if the person with the smaller muzzle was working much, much harder than the one with the longer muzzle and was performing and teaching them, it's possible that the one with the shorter muzzle can equal to or surpass the one had the better genes. We see this all the time. Like when you watch football, you watch basketball, because right now, if you watch football and basketball, whatever it is, right? Jaguar, shout out to Jaguar just came in there. If you know they're doing a combine right now, right? The Lorenzo Styles sons, one of them got like a 4.3, one of them got like a 4.4. They real fast. Now we all know if you watch football, the fastest guy, that's like nerd stuff. Like, oh, it ain't run a 4.4. But everybody know that just because you run a 4.3 or you fast, that don't mean that you're going to be the best wide receiver. That don't mean you're going to be the best. That don't mean that you're going to be the best, whatever position it is. Just like the quarterback with the strongest arm is not necessarily the best quarterback because it takes more to it than that. That's why you see people with less skill. Shout out to Tom Brady. He's not really athletic, but he got 7 chips and arguably the greatest. I think Aaron Rodgers is better, but that's just me. But a lot of people think Tom Brady is the best, and he wasn't even a high draft pick. So Tom Brady is our example of having less genetics, but epigenetically, because he got the intelligence, y'all. He got the work ethic, and he break everything down, and he studied film. So studying film is a epigenetic way to perform. So when we speaking of dogs, you like say for instance, right? When I get my dog, what I usually do, I write a diary. So I write down how many times they go to the bathroom. I write stuff down as much as I can every day so I can see the progress, and it helps you look back like, oh, swag. I write their weights down when I start weighing them. I basically write a diary to see how they react to certain things, see what I need to do on the training. So that's in the dog world, that's kind of equivalent in a sense to watching tape. So that allows me to, do what I do with the dogs just by writing a diary. So that's one game I recommend for y'all. When you get a puppy, write it down. It is also good for you. You'll start, writing a diary. You start to, being your feelings better. You know what I'm saying? You'll be aware of that. So that's like Tom Brady. That's why he was able to do what he had to do, even won a chip with Tampa Bay. So let me read the comments. Y'all, I'm getting hyped, y'all. You know I love this right here. I love to find ways to overcome limitations. Yeah. When I'm going, shout out to Bloodhound. Shout out to my man Adam. Jaguar. We'll see. Maybe we'll get Jaguar up in there. Maybe we'll get Jaguar in there this year. We'll get them in there. 10-pound weighted vest, 5-pound weighted collar does wonders for condition and muscle building, even when you're just on a regular walk. It's facts. That's the epigenetics right there. See, we all use it. We all do it too to get ourselves there. So say if let's just use Adam's let's say if we just use that one, right? Say if you just take regular walks, right? And you got another dog with the same breed, and they take regular walks. Who you think gonna have the advantage when they was performing as far as gonna have more condition? The one that had the weights and the one that had the 5 pounds. You know what I mean? That's 15 pounds, so they're gonna get stronger. Their definition is gonna be there, and it also affects mentally, because after a while, walks are amazing, but when you want to build your heart up, the weights is gonna allow you to build your heart up more, so it's gonna help their conditioning. So epigenetically, that's a win right there. So shout out to you, bro, with that weighted vest, which is, man, it builds them up. It builds them up crazy fast. You know what I mean? I got Jaguars. I haven't been using it. His is like an 8-pound. It's big too. It's thick too. Yeah. You said Jaguar and Bullet, which is more my past study of mine. Put that breeding together so I can get a pup. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, Bullet is the new one. Who was Bullet? Let me see. Okay, Bullet is the new Bullet. The new Bullet is out of Slam. The new Bullet is out of Slam and Nova from a couple months ago. Yeah. Yeah, you know your stuff. Adam know his stuff though, bro. Yeah, I gotta invite you on. I can't wait till you get your dog. I gotta invite you on. Yeah, I gotta invite you on because you know your pedigrees, bro. You said 3 times Frankie Bump, 3 times Rascal, which my favorite pit bull from working is Little Rascal. Little Rascal, and I like what's his name? Chief. Chief was like 84 pounds, 5 times record. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Slam Noble. Yeah, so that's another form. Like I say, certain things you're not gonna be able to surpass, but you can at least get better. Like if your dog is like a C at something, you can at least increase them through certain things. Of like, even if you had a dog, say for instance, right? Because we was on the other live the other day, we was talking about how some dogs are just dumb. I forgot who said it on there, right? So say if you take a dog that most people would consider be dumb, right? But say if you put him with a handler that's not patient, that's going to talk to him all crazy and not spend the time with him, okay. But say if you put that same dog that's considered dumb, you put him with a nice trainer that can really tap into certain things that he has, like his energy, his attitude, his willingness to please or whatever. And that dog, you might see him again. He'd be like, this dog ain't dumb, because he learned some things. His owner taught him certain things. Because I don't really think I wouldn't say certain dogs are dumb. I just think that they might just be a little bit more reckless and just not, how can I put this? Because when it comes to humans, right? When it comes to humans, some people might not be like getting good grades in school, right? But they instinctively know how to like fix things, and they know how to put a business together and certain things. So I'm gonna have to probably do another live on that, because I honestly believe that even if you had a dog that was kind of dumb, if you can at least increase them to normal, because certain dogs is super intelligent. You can see it, but you can at least get him to the level where he can get rid of his dumb label if you train him. That's just my opinion. Your dog's booting up right now. Hearing your dogs? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I can't wait till that breeding come. The Ranger and the Nova joint. Nova. For those who don't know, y'all, Nova is Onyx and Frankie Bump. Nova's sister is Honey. Brent, that's Brett. Honey was recently bred to Fury. She's a good producer. Yeah, so that Frankie Bump and the Onyx. Yeah, and Nova recent litter was with Aggro. Aggro, rest in peace. Aggro was a hog catching phenom, full siblings to Scratch and Bumper. So Aggro, yeah, that was her last litter. And then I remember she also had a litter with Rex. And if you look at Ryan Keaton, he has Rocco. That's out of Nova as well, which is another double Frankie Bump. He looked nice, you know. Yeah, I know what you mean. Some dogs just don't care about certain things, and people interpret that as dumb, while they may be super intelligent. Other things, exactly. So you gotta, as a handler, you gotta tap into your epigenetics and your intuition and say, okay, what is he good at? And you gotta spend time with him, because if you got your dog out and you might have them on a chain, however you got them, and you're not really spending time with them, and you yourself don't know how to train. At least learn the basics. At least learn how to click. At least learn marker words. You don't got to be an expert trainer, but at least learn recall, and then you can put them on a certain thing, because they got to know. So I just think that they can get at least. I think they can at least get off the dumb label. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, some dogs are reckless. They gonna chew stuff, but a lot of that can be trained out of them too. As far as that recklessness around the crib, a lot of that can be trained out of them too. So that's another epigenetic thing right there. What us epigenetically? That I see? What diet? Let's talk about diet, because we know certain dogs. Dogs, from what I hear, I heard dogs back in the day was living to 20. They was living real long. You get what I'm saying? They was living real long. So if you feed them a healthy diet, right? We're gonna say raw. We just gonna say raw is the healthiest diet, right? No kibble, because I feel like raw is healthier than kibble. Okay, and I don't want to debate and be going back and debate on that. So say if you feed them a raw, healthy diet, and you're not overfeeding them, and you got the right amount of supplements, that right there can prevent all types of problems, because we know what you eat does make you sick. This is a fact and the truth. So if you change the whole course of your dog, then that can be something, because there are a lot of genetic diseases within these dogs, and I'll be feeling so sad for them. Like I forget what it's called with the Dobermans, and I heard it's coming to German Shepherds now, DSM or whatever it is. Yeah. You said any Jags litter mates from Brett? Nah, he hasn't, because she had all boys, and I put the thing up. I'm gonna put the, if I remember, I'm gonna put the post up so for people can see. It was just 4 boys. That's it. 2 brindles and 2 fawns. I don't know who else got the other ones. I don't know who. I do remember Lee saying one guy and his dad was getting one. He was like the runt, but now seeing that a lot of the runts be bigger. So yeah, not right now. So hopefully we'll get Jag. Jag, who you want to be bred to, Jag? Who you want to be bred to, buddy? Who you want to be bred to, my guy? But that's epigenetics right there. What else is so you got the diet. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. If you got 2 dogs, they both work out, we work out. The one with the other diet, if they got a better diet than the other one, they're gonna surpass them. That's just fact. That's just, everybody know that. So why not have the right diet and the nutrition, so epigenetically your dog can really be fire? Why not? You might as well. And then you really start to close the gap. Like I'm saying, when we talking about a dog that has good nerves and just, and that might be considered, he might be the 4th pick of the thing. Because a lot of time, let's talk about that. He might be considered the 4th pick. The first pick might not feed their dog healthy. They might not work out like that. So a year later, you see the puppies. You're like, hold on, this is the fourth pick. The fourth pick is better than the first. Epigenetics got him. Eastwood litter. Eastwood. Eastwood was born. Eastwood was born 6 months. He was born 6 months before him. When I went down there to get Jaguar, I seen Eastwood in bro, and I was like, man, Eastwood, boy, Eastwood was bad, bro. Eastwood was bad. He was 6 months older than him, and Eastwood was from Scratch and Onyx. So there was Lady Smith's. It was basically Jaguar's uncle from the second time he bred, because he done that. He done Scratch and Litter like at least 3 times. He got Lady Smith, you got Eastwood, and then he got the newest pup. So I think this is 3rd time. Yeah, yep. But yeah, that was his uncle Eastwood and bro. Chakra, be quiet. But so that's from the epigenetics game. So genetics is an amazing thing. Don't get me wrong, but the thing about, like we talk about genetics, you're not gonna have all 10s across the board. So you're gonna have to do something to turn. You might have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. You might have one area where your dog is like a 6. Like you might have a dog that doesn't have as much drive, right? You can do training, and this is where training comes in. You can do training and get your dog that's a prey drive, that's a 6. You can get them up to an 8, maybe a 9. You can get them up there with training. Even though, say, if a person had them for like a year, then there you go. If a person had them for like a year and they wasn't really tapping into them, you come along, training and conditioning. If you know training and conditioning, and like I said, if your attitude is positive, a lot of your dog is gonna go as far as who you are as a person. Are you pessimistic? You fearful? You scared of everything? You always nervous? You always comparing yourself to people? All that has an effect on your dog, and this is facts. So if you just learn how to stay in your own lane, focus on yourself, be a student, and learn, you'll start to really pick things up at fast, because you're not wasting your time debating people, and you're just not wasting your time, and you really putting in the work. Because like I said, a lot of people is not going to put in no work. A lot of times a person just think, oh, my dog got the genetics, he's going to automatically protect me. My dog got the genetics, his daddy won title, his mommy won this, and they might not feel like they got to put the work in. But here you come, you're like, no, I got the 3rd pick, I got the 4th pick. My puppy, by the year, we're going to be the best one. And we're going to put the work in, and we're going to make sure that this puppy is fire. We're going to make sure this puppy is fire. So, yeah, there you got it. Your environment makes a difference. And also, too, if you got your dog set up, too, one thing that's going to be when I first got Jag, we wasn't living here. So now, just your environment. Say if you got a backyard, and you can put. Say if you got a backyard. This is epigenetics too. Say if you got a swimming pool. Now, my dogs haven't really swum like that, but swimming is one of the best exercises, period, for dogs and humans. So say if you got a lot of space and you got a swimming pool, or even if you don't got a particular swimming pool, say if you got an area for your dogs to swim. So shout out to G. I know their dogs be swimming. Shout out to Mike in Arkansas. Their dogs be swimming. They go to I think it's a lake. That right there, environmental wise. And Mike is a good example. His dogs really be outside. They really be outside. Like he really be putting his effort into his dogs to perform. You get what I'm saying? They always working. My baby girl Dixie, her puppies is 2 weeks old too. So make sure you reach out to Mike if you're looking at one of those puppies with Vader and Dixie. Yeah. So you got a pond. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm telling you. Yeah. 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 Let me see. 100% piss me off. People say it's okay and coddles their dog if it gets spooked. Yeah. Exactly. I hate that. Me, that's like one of my pet peeves. Yeah. So that's the environment and epigenetics connecting in. You can literally weaken your dog. You feeling sorry for your dog and treat him like a little man. You can really weaken your dog out like that. Swimming, slap no springboard. Yeah. Yeah, I gotta get into the slap meal. That's my goal. Maybe I treat myself to a slap meal. And maybe, who knows, at the blink of eye, get a new crib and swimming. But those it. I do the spring pole. Yeah. You got that pond in your backyard. Yeah. But what else? Yeah. So set out the mic. Reach out to Mike. Reach out to Mike if you want a working dog. Let me put this in. Listen. They 17 days old, and let me tell you, they 17 days old, right? But I don't know what Mike is doing. He got those dogs. They very active. They almost behave if they was like 5 weeks old, because it takes, correct me if I'm wrong, they don't start clearly, they open their eyes maybe 10 to 14 days, but they don't start actually seeing in full law. So they barely even can see, but they real active. Like, you know what I mean? Mike, like I said, Mike, I don't know where he learned all this stuff, but he really put the effort in for his. Yeah, listen, you better holler at Mike. I'm telling you, stop playing, bro. Listen, he got some out there. I think he got I think he got 6 girls and 3 boys. Yep. Mike, reach out to me. I'll reach out to Mike, or if you see it on what you call a website, Ryan. Yo, them dogs is them dogs is like, I couldn't believe it, bro. Because most dogs at that age, they just be chilling, not done. They moving around. They making noises, and he got some big females in there. So yo, that's gonna be that secret. I told Mike, I said that's gonna be that secret litter. That secret, that secret litter. He put his epigenetics on that litter, boy. I'm telling you, bro. Yeah. Yeah, you seen it? Yeah. You seen it, right? I was like, bro, this dude is yo, Mike, listen, bro. I'm trying to tell you, when I say something, bro, I'm trying to tell you, don't be sleeping, bro. I'm trying to explain it, bro. Mike putting in the work, bro. Mike putting in the work, man. And I you know what? Anytime I see a litter, I'll be so happy. I'll be wanting to do it. That's why if you ever see me, I'll be like, how much they weigh, because I'm creating data in my mind, because I'm like, okay, this breed is this and this. Because I try to create some type of data so I can see, okay, this dog produces this way, this dog produces this size, and this and this. So when somebody asks me, I got it in my data bank, and I can give out the information. But yeah, those dogs look nice like that. So shout out to Mike using his epigenetic powers, and got them dogs active, like seriously active. But what's another one? So let's talk about more the handler. Like I say, if that's one of the biggest things right now. Are you overly correcting your dog? Because some people, you know how some people are, they talk to people like they stupid. They just don't got no patience. I'm not saying they bad people, but they just quick to get angry, and they don't got no patience, and they just snap out real fast. So if you doing that to your dog, maybe that's why your dog is really dumb, and maybe it's not really dumb. It's because you projected them as being dumb. And that's one thing I want to say too, how we project things is very important. I'm trying to explain to you. So many times, like, you ever hear a person, and if you really got to watch yourself, because you can put a jacket on your dog, you can put a jacket on yourself, and you could put a jacket on anything around you, and it may not even be true. Like we might be like our dog might just not understand what we say during training, and we might say, oh, this dog is stubborn. No, they're not stubborn. They just don't understand it. So then we keep projecting that they're stubborn, and we're stubborn, and we're stubborn. So we teach them as if they're stubborn. But how about we switched it up epigenetically and say, you know what? They just don't understand what I'm saying. Let me end this session, because a lot of times you got to end on a good note. We're going to end this session, but let me think of how I can tap into my dog, how I tap into my dog. And then you tap into what the dog responds to, because like even with training, right? You can use, let's just talk about training. You can use treats. So your treat can be you can pet the dog as a treat. You can praise the dog as a treat. You can give them food as a treat, or you can give them you can play with them as a treat, or you can give them a toy. So it's play, toy. Let me see, food. It's praise, pets, food, play, and toy. So it's 5 different treats. If somebody got more than 5, then go ahead and put it in the thing, right? Every dog don't respond to food like that. But if your skills is only based on food and you don't understand that you can do the same exact thing with a toy or a tug, and you can play with them, then you open up the same thing. So if you only stuck in your ways and you only know how to train one way, you might be the type person that quick to put a jacket on your dog that's not even true. But since a lot of times just because you believe something, that don't mean it's true. So if you're not the type person that know how to make adjustments and say, okay, I'm gonna do this, this, and this, then you just put a jacket on there. And words got power. So you projected stubbornness on your dog. So now your dog is acting stubborn more, all because you projected it on them, all because of you. That's why a handler has a very important responsibility. Who you are as a person is going to reflect on your dogs. That's just a fact. So much so, I forget what it's called. They say the person you are, your aura, and the way you speak, it has effect on the plants in your house. I don't have no plants, but when you really tap into your stuff, you start to learn. I know it sounds weird, but your plants, who you are as a person is so powerful that you can adjust certain things, and your plants will grow stronger. If you got gardens, your plants will grow better. Your children will be more prosperous. Your family will be more peaceful, all because of you, because you tapped into your epigenetics and your nature, and you tapped into yourself, and you allowed yourself to be on a higher level, even with or without experience. And that's the great thing about it. You can be in the game long, but you say, no, well, let me adjust on certain things. That's why it's important to have people around you that'll tell you the truth. Because as a dog handler, there's certain things. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Even for me, I'm saying these things, but this is a reminder of myself. Because I'm real strict. I like the things to go. But sometimes I say, you know what, let me just end it. Because I may start to get frustrated. I say, you know what, let me just end it. So if I'm teaching my dog, I haven't taught her yet, right? So say when I want to start teaching her how to walk backwards, that takes some time, right? So say she's doing it good, then she slip up. Then I say, you know what? Let me just end it on a down or something she know, a bark command or a sit, and praise her and say, okay, good. Because every time I end my praise, I give them a jackpot. Was extra praise or extra treats to make them feel like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? Because it's all psychological in that point. But so losing your temper is one of the not so good things that we can do as dog handlers, is just losing your temper and get mad. You know what I mean? And just saying, man, let me read some of this on here. Shout out to everybody in here. Make sure y'all smash the thumbs up. Let's get it. Yeah, make sure you reach out to Mike, man. Yes, sir. Salute, Inquisitive Jean. What's happening? Welcome to the channel. It's my first time seeing you. If you feel like it, feel free to subscribe, man. We talking about the epigenetics games, because we gotta If you got, we're gonna use it in a metaphor. If you got the fourth pick, we want the fourth pick to start acting like the first pick. And if you got the first pick, you want the first pick to maintain that. Because, you know, all puppies within the same litter is not going to be the same. But this is little things that you can do within yourself. You know, like I said, if you got road rage and somebody snap it and you get, we all know if we got a temper or not. If you got a temper or not, you can overcome your temper. And as you overcome your temper, your patience is going to get better. You get what I'm saying? So, had to check myself before dog where my dog clipped my finger open his sleeve. First emotion was pissed off, but I reeled back. Didn't want him thinking he's not supposed to commit. Yeah, that's the that's the relationship. That's the relationship that you want to have to go to the next level dealing with dogs. And the same thing that dealing with dogs is also, you know, it's also dealing with people as well. You know what I mean? Because we all gotta admit, right? We all got pet peeves when it comes to certain people. You know what I mean? It's certain personality types, but that get on our nerves, bro. We all got them, y'all. We all got personality types. He's like, not today, buddy. Not today, buddy. Not today. Not today. You're not gonna mess up my natural high, bro. I'm sure y'all are. But once you learn how to deal with certain people and certain techniques, your days be going better. Now, if you don't learn, if you don't tap into your environment, and when I mean environment, I'm talking about your own internal environment, because we all got an internal self. If you don't learn how to do it, then it mess up your whole day. Exactly. Undrafted free agent to a Pro Bowler. Yeah. What's my man, Julian Edelman? I don't know if he was undrafted, but he was, listen, Julian Edelman is a bad boy, man. Julian Edelman, because Julian Edelman was better than that one guy that came before him. I forget the one guy used to drop passes, but he was similar to him too. It was Julian Edelman, and he was similar to Julian Edelman. They played the same slot. Chakra, quiet. Quiet. Gotta let her be quiet because she'll keep whining. It was Julian Edelman or something. He used to pat, but he was better. Julian Edelman was bad, bro. Yeah, Julian Edelman was versatile. He got that work ethic. And that's what happens too when your work ethic will outdo your ability to train, and work ethic and intelligence to outdo certain genetic things. Because we got to admit, though, bro, let's look at homeboy. Genetically, he's tall, right? The Joker. Most of us agree, if you watch basketball, he the best player in the league, right? He got 3 MVPs. To be really honest with you, he really should have 5, bro. He really should have won last year over my man. I like my man from OKC, but the Joker really should have won. They get to the point where they get fatigued, like, oh, he's supposed to, so they don't give it to you. He's not real athletic. He can't jump out the gym, y'all. But the dude last year averaged a triple-double. Only the third person. The second person to do it was Russell Westbrook, who's athletic. You got Oscar Robertson. So he's on pace to average another triple-double. He can score, but he's not even athletic, y'all. So what is it about him that allows him to be the best player? Because we was just talking about the compound and how a person can run all the fast, they can do all this, they can jump real high, but that's not the end-all be-all for being great. And that's what I'm, having this lie, because the Joker is bad. And part of it to me is he just slows everything down. He got the fundamentals and he uses his brain. He uses his brain, man. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. He literally the best, though, bro. He's going to pass. Listen, Russell Westbrook got the most triple doubles. He's going to pass Russell Westbrook. And he started in 2014. Russell Westbrook started in 2008. And he almost about to break his record already. This dude he's not playing around, man. Yeah. So that's good that's good that you honest with yourself. You know what I'm saying? And you practice and shout out to my man Bird. Dogs thrive on confidence. So the more you can project confidence is the ability the dogs will pick up on a vibe. And that's facts. That's facts. You being confident, yeah, that's facts. They basically a reflection of you. They say any father or parents, their kids is a reflection of the parents. If you're a coach, Your players is a reflection of the coach. If you're a dog, you got a dog, then your dogs is a reflection of you, whether we like it or not. You know what I'm saying? Technique and intelligence beats raw power. Exactly. And that's what you can do epigenetically. You can teach a dog certain things. Once you learn the training, you can teach them to get in shape with that. The one thing I notice about dogs too, everything carries over. So shout out to Mel McDuffie. That's Khalil's dad. I had him on. He's from Chicago. He talk about when he do his protection dogs, because Chicago, believe it or not, got some of the best trainers in the world. So he says that he does agility, and he said he does agility with all his dogs, and it made sense though, because agility allows you to overcome obstacles. It allows you to work on your athleticism and the ability to think. That right there, guess what? The ability to think and athleticism carries over to protection work. You get what I'm saying? So it's a lot of different. That's why I love dogs, and I love the dog world topics, and because it's like unlimited. And not only is it unlimited, it also, Jaguar, what you doing, buddy? Come on, buddy. You acting like her now. Come on, buddy. The dog world is unlimited, and it relates to life too. So the same way you say if you like me and you don't like school, right? I ain't really like school like that. I mean, I could get good grades, but I couldn't really concentrate. I was bad. I was cutting classes, so my grades wasn't as good as they can be. But I can learn things fast. You get what I'm saying? And then not only can I learn things fast, I can go beyond that, and I can research and do things on my own through my own free will. And that right there can put me in places. I might not have a degree. I told you I only got a diploma. So that don't mean nothing, because I know how to put myself in certain advantages, so that way my lack of diploma won't be a restriction, and I won't put a jacket on myself thinking like, oh, I'm dumb because I only got a diploma. No, because that, like I said, you can put jackets on your dogs. You can put negative jackets on your friends and family. You can put them on yourself, and that's what holds us back and prevents us from being the best dog people that we can, or the best people, period. D Gonzo, what's happening? That's my man D Gonzo right there. He got Chief the Beast. My man Chief the Beast, the presser right there. But what else I wanted to talk about? Yeah, so for those who recap, epigenetics is environment. Take advantage. Listen, I'm telling y'all right now, not everybody. If y'all, even if y'all don't consider yourself experienced, if y'all got a yard, take advantage of that yard, y'all. Everybody don't got a yard, so they gotta take their dog to the dog park. They gotta take them somewhere. You don't need. You can just go right outside. 2 minutes. You can go 2 minutes, get the flirt pole, and boom, let's go. 15 minutes later, they got a whole workout. 15 minutes on the flirt pole. 15 minutes on the flirt pole was like walking your dog like 3 or 4 hours. I'm trying to tell y'all. And it's going to give a muscle. So little things like that make it different. But take advantage of your yard. Shit. Do it for me. Get a slap meal. Because I can't wait to get a slap meal. And if you got a swimming pool, swimming for me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, book smarts versus street smarts. Yeah, you got to have that. Book smarts is very intelligent. I mean, very important, but so is being able to. Book smarts is cool, but you got to be like street smarts. You got to be like emotional and be able to deal with people. That's the big thing. You just got to learn to deal with people, because everybody got different personalities. So if you're not the type person where it's hard to deal with people, then that can create problems, especially at work. Now, if you work for yourself, it'd be a little different, but you still gonna have to deal with people either way. Jaguar, what you doing, buddy? What you doing, buddy? Chill out. We almost finished, man. But yeah, I just wanted to say that epigenetics right there, just to recap, it's your environment, it's what you feed them, it's how you talk to them, it's how you project yourself onto them. Are you optimistic? Or are you pessimistic? Are you never satisfied type person? Do you always look, or do you always see the glass half empty? Because that's going to affect your dog. I'm telling you right now. And this is a fact and the truth. And if you don't believe me, that's on you. That's a fact and the truth. If you don't understand like who you are as a person and how it affects the world around you, and you might call it crazy, well, hey, that's on you, buddy. That's on you, buddy. You can think what you want. Just because you believe something, that don't mean it's the truth. But I know this is a fact and the truth. Like who you are has an effect on your environment, period. You know what I'm saying? Even the plants. But I don't have no plants, so I can't tell you that. I don't have no plants though. And I don't got no garden, so but I'm just saying that it's a guy. If y'all look it up, it's a guy, right? It's a guy that I forgot his name. He was like a botanist, but the way he would talk to the way he would talk to the plants and the way he would like manifesting with the plants was like crazy. And the plants I'm talking about was like food. You know, it was like vegetables and like fruits or something. The vegetables would be growing like way bigger, way faster, all because he was like, of course, I'm sure he had good soil, because you got to have the right soil and the right environment. But he took it even farther with just the way he was, and that plant was like amazing. Because we are seeds though, our salts and seeds though. So I don't want to get like too preachy, but I love talking about stuff like this because, you know, we kind of like the underdogs. Like me, I don't got a whole lot of experience. I got some, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, in order for me to catch up, I got to use other stuff. You get what I'm saying? I ain't go to school, so I can't use my degree, but I can learn. I can sit there and learn and read. You get what I'm saying? I got to use my training that I do. I got to make sure my dogs eat the healthiest possible, have the healthiest supplements, and make sure I work my dogs. Like, they going to work, but they like it too. So it's not like I'm forcing them to work. To be honest with you, I got to force them to stop, to be really honest with you, because I don't want to injure my dogs. I talked about that before. You don't want to go too crazy and you'll injure your dogs. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, this is episode 6, Students of the Game. Shout out to my man, Luis Armandariz. If y'all haven't seen the live with Luis Armandariz, that was 2 days ago. My man is in New Mexico. Make sure you reach out to him. He'll answer your question. He's a real cool guy. He was part 2. We're going to have part 2 once he have his new litter. And just kick it even more. You know what I mean? And yeah, make sure y'all go look up the other 5 episodes of Students of the Game. I gotta get somebody on here with a Sentinel so we can do living with Sentinels. I'm trying to work on that. I'm trying to get my homeboy. His dog is right. Andrew got a son. Bro, let me say this before I go, because my puppies, if you look at my dogs, it takes them a minute for them to get their leanness and their muscles. But Andrew got a Chakra's full sibling. They 10 months apart. He got a boy. He growing so fast. His name is Severo. This boy is lean already. He was born October 22nd. So how long? Let me see. November, December, January. So he only he not even 5 months. He lean already. He got muscles already. I don't know what training. I don't know what Andrew's doing, but I'm gonna have him on the show so he can talk to y'all, because Andrew is also into pit bulls too. So that'll be a good living with Sentinels, so he can talk about his current Sentinel and also pit bulls, because he know those pit bulls. And I'm trying to gain my knowledge even more so on the pit bulls. But his dog, man, I wish there was a way where you can like leave photos and videos on there. But he looking good, man. Like, I was like, wow, he got muscles already. And it's the same. Okay. Let's talk about that before I go. So genetically, they got the same mom and dad, scratch and hair trigger, right? But my girl, she hasn't yet, because she's still developing. But he must be doing something I'm not doing, because his dog is 4 months and he already lean with muscles. So it's obvious he's doing something I'm not doing. So that's where the epigenetics go. So that's why I say you gotta know yourself, stay in your lane, and just learn. You know what I'm saying? And take your time. So I love to see that too, because it's like, dog, this dog is there, but my girl is of course she kind of big, but he got a boy, so he might end up I don't know. She kind of big like a boy, so his dog might be bigger than my girl. But whatever he doing, keep doing it, Drew. If you listen to this, keep doing your thing, bro, because you got your dog looking good already. You know what I'm saying? At only 5 months. So, but yeah, that's basically it, y'all. Once again, help the algorithm out. Leave a comment if there's anybody you would like for me to interview. Shout out to Quiz. Let me answer y'all things before I get out of here. Okay, yeah. Let me read your comments. Really enjoy the dog talk, gentlemen. Yeah, shout out to my man Bird. That's my man, Brett. When I go to Vegas, I'm definitely gonna have to link up with Bird. But y'all know I get real excited. So if I get real excited, man, tell me to calm down. Let's put a chill in the comments. So hopefully Lee Robinson is gonna open up a training facility, but hopefully he open up a couple kennels and have it where I pay, Lee to let my dog, be there for like a week, and then that way I can fly because I can't breathe. I either have to drive somewhere or for me to go on like fly somewhere, I gotta have them in a certain facility. You know what I'm saying? And Lee familiar with these dogs, so he can just have a kennel walk and boom. I would drop both of them off because, like I said, they're not gonna be, allow nobody else to do it. A lot of dogs struggle if they're used to bite work on grass carpet, then you switch them to vinyl flooring where they can't use leverage. You know what? That's a good point. Yeah, see, you got it, bro. You understand. Shout out to Inquisitive Dijon. Is Jaguar for scratch breeding? No. Jag is it, my girl is. Chakra is. Chakra is off of she 14 months. Chakra is, yep. Jaguar, but Jaguar got scratch blood. Jaguar scratches his granddad. That scratches his granddad. When my new house done being built, my dad builds a custom climate control kennel. I'm getting several Sentinels. Yeah, they add up fast, bro. Yeah, they add up fast, bro. Trust me, bro. Before you know it, you be breeding Sentinels. You have a whole team. You be like, man, they add up real fast. I'm forcing myself right now. I'm like 2 is my limit, man. But my mind is convincing me. My mind is convincing me. But since I got a boy and a girl, 3 is an odd number because they like Sentinels. You get a boy and a girl, whatever. I'm like, what should I get? Should I get a girl? Then I'm like, man, she kind of, because I know Jaguar get along. He love the bitches. You know what I'm saying? He gonna get along with them. He ain't gonna overly correct them, but he gonna have fun. He know how to split to them, but he put him. He basically know how to play with them. You know what I mean? He ain't gonna hurt him, even though he play with them super, super, super. He basically get them ready. But then I'm like, okay, if I get a boy, then 2 males, intact males. We got 1 female. So that's the mindset I'm in right now. That's why I'm hoping somebody get 2 males, even more, and live in the house, and I can see them as adults, and then but right now my limit is 2, but I am open to fostering. I'll foster a Sentinel, put some obedience on them. I can do the basics, or I can do the full. You want on and off leash, and then then you can have them back. Midwest Sentinels, yeah. I heard, yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. And then Jaguar. See, Jaguar. So if I have 2 girls and the boy, Jaguar get along with both of them. But then the 2 bitches would be fighting. I'm like, bruh, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's why I might just gotta get a boy. I might just gotta get a boy and just keep them. Of course, I won't keep them separate with Jaguar, but they have yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. But we'll see though, man. But I appreciate y'all, man. Like once again, I appreciate y'all for always supporting me. I know I was supposed to I had to switch it up. I was supposed to do 8:30. That's why a lot of people didn't come on. I started it a little bit earlier because I'm in the epigenetic mindset of make sure that I gotta do these lives. So I done one Sunday and on Tuesday. I'm gonna do one Thursday for sure, and I might even do one tomorrow. And I have some, some more interviews coming up for y'all, and some surprises coming up for y'all. But yeah, I love kicking it. But as these lives get bigger and bigger and bigger, and more people come, I have more guests on there, and like I say, y'all always can welcome to come up on here and kick dogs, dog knowledge, and teach me some stuff. Having an intact female around 2 males makes it more difficult than just 2 intact males. Yeah, that's why 3 is a crazy number, bro. That's why it is. But we're gonna see. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I get me a dog that's not going to challenge. Maybe I get a female. What you think I can get? Maybe I get a female. Give me a give me give me a female giant schnauzer, or you know what? Give me a female mini schnauzer. Because if you got a dog that's not going to challenge them, I get me one of those mini schnauzers. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I like the mini schnauzers, bro. Lee, what's happening? Shout out to my man Lee Robinson, the man, the myth, the legend, Lee Robinson. We talking about epigenetics, Lee. I told him, Lee, when I be hearing your genetics thing, it's like watching a Bruce Lee movie. I be thinking I know what I'm talking about on the genetics part. So I gotta stick to epigenetics more than genetics, because I be hearing your stuff. I'll be like, okay, boom, boom, this, this allele go with this, boom, 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 boom. I'll be like, bam, 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 bam. But I really don't know. But it be sounding good. But I be learning so much stuff though. Give me a Goldie Doodle. Yeah, Eastwood was scratching on it. Yeah. Give me a video. Yo, I'm telling you, bro. When I first started my dog walking business, right? This lady had a mini schnauzer, bro. Them miniature schnauzers is amazing, bro. They real intelligent. They like so cool, bro. They be so cool because that's probably the only option to get a third dog. You're gonna have to have a dog that's not gonna be challenging. If you get a dog that's gonna challenge and like stand their ground, and that can be a problem. But at the same time, I like dogs to do that. So I gotta come up with a way, bro. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Miniature pincher. Okay. Yeah. I like the mini schnauzers. What else? I like the regulars. I like Jaguar. Chill out, buddy. I like the standard schnauzers, but I heard somebody told me that the standard schnauz. I like giant schnauzers the best, but I'm just thinking of something that won't be too like that crazy. I heard the standard schnauzers is only for like a one person. Something they told me about the schnauzers. They look like they got a little attitude problem though, so I might gotta get me that one, or I might just get me a pit bull. Cause I ain't gonna front, bro. Them pit bulls I've been seeing lately, man. Them pit bulls I've been seeing lately. Yeah, but what else epigenetically? Yeah. So just to recap, who you are as a person. Are you impatient? Are you patient? Are you optimistic? Are you pessimistic? Are you positive? Are you the type person that reach out to knowledge, or you think you know everything? All these things has an effect on yourself, your environment, and your dogs as part of your environment. What you feed your dogs, how you train them, how much you train them, all these things. Are you taking advantage, or do you live in an apartment? That's not an excuse. I'm telling you right now. That's not an excuse. You still can train your dog in an apartment and you can still get them in shape. So that's not an excuse. However, if you do got a yard, it's going to be better for your dog. It's going to be better. But let me say this. If if you got an apartment and you want to like even your odds up with a person, say if you was doing a competition, right? And your goal was to get your dog in shape and to train them, it's obvious you're going to have to catch up to the person that got a private yard. So what I would do, I would find like a park to go to, and I would go to the park when a lot of people isn't there and train them. Especially if you know how to train your dog off leash. So you're going to have to even up the odds a little bit to make sure you don't just lose just because you live in an apartment. Also, what I would do is, of course, you would socialize your dog, but I would find a park to train them. You get what I'm saying? And take and really expose them to different stores, different things, because you don't want to use the fact that you don't got a yard as an excuse. Yeah. Lee, you gotta get you Lee, you gotta get you a little Shih Tzu, Lee. A little Shih Tzu. What would you? So Lee, let me ask you this: if you was only gonna have 3 dogs living in your house, would you get 2 males and a female, or would you get two males and a female, or would you get 2 females and a male? Yeah. You said genetics trump epigenetics because epigenetics are trapped within genetics. The environment can only turn off what is present. But Lee, let me ask you this though. we were speaking about that earlier. Lee, we was talking about a dog that's considered dumb, right? Now you place a dog, Lee. This is epigenetics comes in. You place a dog that's considered dumb with a world-class trainer that's patient. You can at least, in my opinion, get the dog to be not get classified as dumb, or it can be a normal dog. Because some dogs, you say you got a dumb dog, a normal dog, and you got a intelligent dog. You can at least get them to being somewhat intelligent. What you think? I would think so. And that's what epigenetics. That's what epigenetics, because a lot of the dogs don't necessarily be dumb, in my opinion. I think they just be reckless. They just be reckless. What you think? Because of course, Lee, you got more experience than me. I'm thinking if you training, yeah. But then you take a dog. See, a lot of dogs, even with pit bulls, Lee, even with pit bulls, a lot of people, believe it or not, y'all the one said pit bulls are very intelligent, right? But a person is not bringing out their intelligence because they already projected them as just being Jaguar. Chill out. Sit. Because they already projected them. We was talking about how you project things on your dog. If you project things like, oh, this dog is just good for fighting or just good for hunting, then you're not going to let your pit bull reach the highest level, because they are intelligent. And then you can teach them and you can train them. And you can even if they are aggressive or other dogs, you can train them to be neutral so they won't be a liability. So these are the things that epigenetically you can put your dog on another level. Because if you take 2 pit bulls, one of them is a 10, right? Allegedly. One of them is a 10, one of them is an 8. That 8 can eventually surpass the 10 if you work on different aspects of their dog, because a lot of people ain't breaking their dog down and working on their weaknesses. You can turn your weaknesses into a strength. Oh, okay, I got you. So now, Lee, with your experience, use an example of what you consider dumb, Lee. Usually, what you consider dumb, like they just like no common sense or what? Dumber success. Some people don't train a dog at all, and they say it's dumb because it doesn't listen to commands. You never train it. That's what I'm talking about. You never trained them. They don't know what you want. You never trained them, so yeah, I agree. I agree, but we're talking about in the sense, Jaguar. What you doing, buddy? Hold on, buddy. We're talking about in the sense where we got to even up the odds, because Lee, you've been doing this for almost 30 years. you know every dog is not going to be a 10 in all areas. So in order to catch up and get your dog, like if you Jaguar, what you doing, buddy? Oh, if you got to Lee, say Lee, say if you get a dog, you know how to train. Say if you get a puppy, right? And you have somebody already pay you certain amount of money. So your dog got 10 puppies, right? And you got 5 people already there. They already, for some reason, you didn't want the litter, and they already got the first pick, second pick, and you decide that you get the 4th pick, right? A year later, so epigenetic wise, you putting in training, you got them conditioned, you train, you got them with the right diet. That 4th pick can start to look better than the first pick, because a lot of times we already know the first pick is like it's a lottery. So why not even up the odds and control the controllables? Because genetics, we can't really control genetics, and we speak it on dogs that got fairly, that's fairly healthy and that's not like got any physical ailments or super bad nerves where they can't work. So epigenetics can even the odds, and I'm of the opinion that you can start doing better if you. Now, of course, if the person have better genetics and they do what you do, but a lot of people with the better genetics dogs, they get lazy. They like, oh, my dog was a grand champion. My dad was, and they don't put the work in. You feel me? That's why they say in the NFL league, once they sign that big contract, they're not hungry no more. So their performance dips. And then you got somebody that's hungry, and they stay hungry, and they stay hungry, and they stay hungry. And then they end up having a better career than people that had better genetics than them. Example, Tom Brady. From a genetic standpoint, Michael Vick has better genetics. His arm is stronger. He's left-handed. But he don't got the work ethic and the other factors. So he surpassed them. You get what I'm saying? So that's how he done it. Oh, Shih Tzu is smart. Yeah, Shih Tzus are nice, bro. Yeah. I appreciate. Shout out to Lee. You my first member, Lee. I didn't think nobody was gonna do it. Now you gonna force me. Now I gotta put some members only stuff on there. We're gonna have some stuff on there, yeah. We're gonna have some stuff on there. Yeah. At the end of the day, a dog is a reflection of the owner, and that's what right. And if you're the type person that knows how to tap into your inner self and your inner environment and work on things within yourself, you can have that carry over. Because like I say, if you pessimistic, right? But say if you taught yourself how to be optimistic, your dog is going to be totally different. They're going to be totally different because you're going to be more up. Because being pessimistic is a big weakness. I'm telling y'all, you always see the worst of everything. You always complaining. All these things are related. I think that still genetics, one dog's just slower developing in its full potential than the one that showed its potential early on. Yeah. No, I really need to. I appreciate you, Lee. I really need to because I said I needed to. This is one of my things I've been working on. But I appreciate you. Yeah. So but yeah, yeah, I kind of know what this bell-shaped curve is. Yeah, explain it, Lee. Explain it, Lee. Bell-shaped curve. I think it's about the balance. You showed that was one of your videos when I was watching it. And I was like watching my Bruce Lee. Well, your genetics thing, that's when I get my Bruce Lee on. I'll be like, boom. I'll be feeling like I'm so much. I'll be feeling like I went to college, Lee. I'll be like, yeah. I feel like I got associates in DNA and genetics. But then I forget everything. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we got to get Lee. Yo, I told you I got some surprises coming up. Yeah. Now I'm gonna let the surprise out of the bag. Yeah, let me bring it on here. Let me send you a lot. Let me send you a link, Lee. Here you go. Here you go, Lee. You might as well join us. Special guest Lee Robinson. There you go, Lee. Anybody else want to join? Just click that link and we'll get it on there. Because Lee, I think epigenetics can even the playing field if the let me see. Lee Robinson, what's happening? You got it on mute, Lee?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
All right. So what I was going to say about the population just no, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Huh, I'm having a leap delay. Let's see.
You having a delay?
Yeah, let me see if I can fix that.
Let me see.
Yeah, let me check my settings.
Oh yeah, it might be under the settings, or let me check your mic because it sound cool on here.
Like if I say 1, I hear it like it goes back like 2 or 3 times.
Oh yeah, you gotta do the settings part. Yeah, that's part of the settings. Let me try to edit your mic settings. Let me see. Do you hear the same thing now?
I don't know how to do it.
No, I switched something on my end. Does it still
No,
saying
it's
it?
doing good. It's working good now.
Okay, I took it off of there. There you go.
All right.
You gotta. It sounds like you got.
I still got an echo. Ask your audience
You
if
got
they're hearing it. Oh, I know what it is. Let me
you got
turn
the
this
live
on.
on in the background. Yeah.
Okay, there I get. I shut off the YouTube. Now it should work. All right. So as far as how epigenetics work with the population distribution, let me see if I can add a link. Let me show you something here.
Yeah. Go
Not
do your
a
thing.
link, an image. It's a bell-shaped curve. So I'm going to share. Oops. All right. Let me just show you a page here. Present. Share screen. All right. Can y'all see that?
Yes, sir. Let me put you on.
All right.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
I'm not going to play this video, but this is just a bell-shaped curve. And
Okay.
so what we have here is this is the mean, this is the average, and this is going to represent a population. So you have a very few individuals. Let's just say this is dumb and this is smart. Very
Okay.
few individuals are dumb, and very few individuals are this smart. Most
Okay.
people fall in the average, and you have
Okay.
you have like I think it's 33% here and 33% here for a total, or something like maybe it's 31% here. I can't remember exactly, but basically this shaded area is about 60 something percent of the curve. And then as you go out, you have another almost, it's a little bit less than a third between this side and this side added together, if I remember correctly. It's been a while
Mhm.
since I've done. Oh, no, I misspoke. Because I see 2.1 plus 1.13, so that's only going to be, so this is going to, oh, I'm sorry, this is 1 standard deviation, this is 2 standard deviations, 3 standard deviations. Let me find another graph. Bell-shaped curve, population distribution, images. We're going to look at the standard deviations. Here we go. Let me share this tab again instead. So let's see. All right, here we go. So it's 34%. Can y'all see this
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
blue screen now?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, that's what I wanted to see. Good. All right, so we have 34% here and 34% here for a total of 68% within 1 standard deviation away from the mean. The mean is the average.
Okay.
So here is 2 standard deviations away, and to get above 2 standard deviations away, you have very few people that are in the top 2% of the population, and It was very, very few. What was it? What 0.15 or one? I think it was 0.13. I can't remember. Very few that are above three standard deviations above the mean.
Okay.
Well, if this is really dumb, this is so dumb that they can't function. You're going to have a caretaker for them. Um, in the military, I was told they won't hire people that have an IQ below a certain point because even if you ask them to mop the floor, they tape the mop bucket into the computer room. They get the mop wet, and then they're slapping the computers, running the computers. You don't want somebody that's too dumb. You can't. You got to have a minimum level of intelligence to
Okay.
to even cut lumber because if you don't cut the lumber properly, you end up with boards that are thrown away because they're cut too short. So you need to be reasonably intelligent to do a job functionally. So as you go up, you're gaining functional ability. Well, this is in the population, but the thing that's unique about this is it's also true for the individual within your genetics. So let's just say, for example, that this is what your genetics predict you to be. But if you work hard and you have the right environment, you can, with your epigenetics, you can migrate up to a higher level. But you're still limited. So we almost need like two bell-shaped curves. We need one for the individual and then another one for the population. So are you able to see my mouse on here or no?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so let's say, for example, that your intelligence was one standard deviation above the mean. Well, you might have a curve that starts at the mean and it goes up and then it comes back down, and your potential you would have your own genetic predisposed potential. For example, if this is height, instead of let's talking about intelligence, let's look at something like height. We know that the average population in the United States is something like 5'8" for a man. Let's just say it's 5'8".
Uh-huh.
And how tall are you, Jalik?
I'm 6 foot.
So you're 6 foot. So you're above the average. So let's say this is your genetic potential. But even though this is your genetic potential, the environment has an impact because what if you were fed junk? If you were fed junk, you wouldn't have grown properly. What if you had intestinal parasites? You wouldn't have grown properly. You would have been shorter than your genetic predisposition. So a predisposition doesn't mean determined. It means you have a range that you can fall within. So if you have poor nutrition or if you have intestinal parasites, you may be below your average. But if you have proper nutrition and make sure everything's perfect and healthy and optimized, and you get right amount of sunlight, right amount of exercise, and everything's perfect, you could be above 6 foot. Maybe you would have been 6'1" or 6'2", but your genetic predisposure is somewhere around 6 feet. So when I say epigenetics is trapped or bound by the constraints of genetics, what I mean by that is you have a predisposed uh, likelihood of falling within a certain area. There was a girl, you may have heard me talk about this in one of my videos, where I think it was in Russia, it may have been Czechoslovakia or somewhere over in one of those countries, where her parents neglected her and put her outside and the dogs raised her. And when she was a teenager, she literally ran around on her arms and, I mean, hands and feet and barked like a dog and ate out of a bowl. And so if she would have been raised in my house, obviously she wouldn't have done that. She would have had a lot more development and reached her full genetic potential. But let's just say you did the same thing with somebody like Albert Einstein. Okay, um, would he have turned out the same as her, or would he have learned on his own? Some people will go out and learn on their own. Some people won't. Um, so a predisposure doesn't mean set determined. It doesn't mean it's going to be a fact. But epigenetics is you can only reach the limit of your genetic potential. That's why I say genetics trumps epigenetics. Because if the genes aren't there, you can't turn them on.
Okay, so relate that to dogs though. So say if you got a litter coming up
Yeah.
and you what you consider is the top pick, but then the fourth pick end up being better than the top pick. Doesn't that have to do with something with epigenetics?
Yeah, sure.
Or
That could be related to epigenetics, but that could also be that the person that had the top pick didn't do as much.
right.
So maybe he neglected his dog, and so the genes weren't turned on. or maybe other genes were turned on and the working genes were turned off. If you just put a dog in a kennel and you never stimulate it, prey drive might eventually turn off, because what's the point of acting a fool and biting the fence? It hurts me, my teeth,
Right.
I can't be successful. I can't hunt. What's going to happen to, for example, this? I actually just pulled up an interesting study on
Yeah,
this.
go ahead.
Let me find this
While
screenshot
you
that I
doing
pulled
that,
up.
make sure y'all smash the thumbs up. We got a special guest. This wasn't playing. Lee Robinson.
Let me
Lee
find this screen.
Robinson is saying genetics is Trump's epigenetics. I actually think the real cheat code is the epigenetics. If you don't, if you starting on a dog, we speaking of dogs. If you we not talking about a dog that's real nervous. We talking about a general dog, and they like brothers and sisters in the litter.
All right, so I was going to do a video on this, but we're going to leak it out on your content right now. All right.
Okay, cool.
Let's see if this is the right image.
You got it. That's the one.
Um, if it pull it up and let's see if this is it. I can't really see it. Yeah. So all right, this is it. So for example, there's one of the things that I think a lot of trainers don't understand is how hormones, endocrinology, have a lot to do with drive and behavior. So, a lot of trainers talk about prey drive and defense drive, but they don't believe in fight drive. Well, there's four hormones that we need to look at. And the other day I was talking about this with somebody, and I was referring to cortisol, test. Excuse me, there's another one here that's missing. Um, Endorphins. We have one that's missing, but that's okay. Oh no, I see endorphins. They don't have
Cortisol, dopamine.
they don't have epinephrine in this graph. So
Okay.
we should have, all right. So there should be five hormones listed: testosterone, cortisol, dopamine, and epinephrine, and
Okay.
endorphins and epinephrine. Well, when you have a winner of a fight, there's a significant rise in testosterone. The same individual that was in the same, or excuse me, a different individual that was in the same fight has a drop in testosterone. Now, let's just say hypothetically that the winner of the fight may have initially had a lower testosterone level, and the loser of the fight may have initially had a higher testosterone level. But that was their genetic norm. But their experience altered that norm, which caused the one that was originally low rose because it won the fight, and then the other one that was maybe initially high dropped because it lost the fight. All right. So what happens is there's five hormones that are influenced by combative situation: testosterone, cortisol, dopamine, endorphins, and epinephrine. And all five of these hormones play a role in the dog's development. Obviously, testosterone increases the strength of the individual, improves the recovery time of the individual. Um, in, like if you have a muscle that gets sore, or a ligament or a tendon, steroids are going to help recover that.
Mhm.
Cortisol cortisol has to deal with recovery as well, because it reduces inflammation. And if you win a fight, you probably did not have as much injury as the loser. The loser probably took a lot more injury. So they need to keep that high cortisol level to prevent inflammation. Then dopamine is going to impact it's a feel good hormone. This is a hormone that makes dopamine and endorphins, but especially dopamine is a feel good hormone. So they feel good. You notice, like if you had a victory, anytime you win something, you have this joyful experience. Like if you eat a cookie that tastes really good, you have a joyful experience. The next thing you know, you start to get addicted to those particular cookies that you like, because the endorphins, it draws you back to it. Um, so a lot of things can cause a dopamine reaction. Whether you played a video game, you get addicted to it because you had a dopamine reaction. But if you're always pissed off and it just makes you mad, you get tired of it, and you lose interest. Um, so, and then you have endorphins, which are kind of like dopamine in some ways, but endorphins can be released in good or bad situations. So here you see in the good situation it was moderate, but in the bad situation it says here it was high. I need to verify this graph because I'm not quite sure about it being high on a loss. It may be moderate here as well.
So Lee, not to cut you off, right?
Yep,
So if we speaking in the world of K9s, right?
yep.
Would you agree or disagree that a dog's diet or what they eat affects their hormones? Because diet when you break that diet down, they got protein, vitamins, and minerals. Those are actual chemicals as well. Hormones would be considered classified a chemical, right?
Correct?
So
So here's one. Let me pull up this
yeah,
graph because this graph here shows. Can you switch it to this other image?
yeah the one, this one, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So in this graph, we see epinephrine. This epinephrine wasn't shown in the other graph.
Okay,
So if you look here on the left, we have hunting, defending, and fighting.
yeah.
Notice what happens in epinephrine. It's high in all three of these, right?
Mm,
Cortisol is high in fighting, and it's high in defending, but it's not high in hunting. Why? Because cortisol is a stress-related hormone, and hunting is not
mm.
stress. Hunting is generally speaking not as stressful. Endorphins has to deal with masking pain, so it's not as involved in hunting, but yet dopamine is very high because it's very pleasurable. So anyway, yeah, but our food definitely affects our steroids, our hormones in general. So without a doubt, what you eat has a lot to do with your development.
So with that being the case, right? If you if you got a dog that, say for instance, we're gonna say the top pick, we're gonna say the top pick might have had better genetics than the third or fourth pick, right?
Right.
But
But
the
if you
first,
feed the dog properly or improperly, or you develop the dog
right.
properly or improperly, that's when you're going to migrate in that genetic potential of up and down within your own individual bell-shaped curve. So the better dog may have a bell-shaped curve that's higher than than the inferior dog, but that doesn't mean they don't overlap. Let's see, I'm trying to make this on my image. So let's say this is the better dog, and then this is the inferior dog. Um, well, depending upon so the better dog has the higher curve. It goes further off to the right. Everything's
Yeah.
backwards here on the computer, so I'm having to do it backwards because of the image. So the better dog can go further up can go further up the extreme. Man, my background is causing it to mess up. So here's your bell-shaped curve of the better dog. It goes higher off to the right. All right, so it goes higher off to the right. The inferior dog goes higher off to the left, or goes lower to the left. So there's an overlap of which one's better. We're assuming that this side is better and this side is worse. So as the genetic potential, the if you do a bad job with this better dog, it's going to be down here, and if you do a great job with the inferior dog, it's going to be up here. So they can cross over and change, but you're not changing the genetics when you do that. You're going to be breeding to the genes that those dogs have. Now, the genes may be turned on or turned off in that individual, or they may be turned on and turned off in the offspring, but you're not changing the genes. So, to me, I think, why would you ever choose the inferior dog? We can't tell by looking at a dog if its genetic potential is turned on or off. All we can do is look at its performance, and maybe its performance was better than maybe dog A was better than dog B, but we don't know if dog A is turned on or off or dog B is turned on or off. We just have to assume that dog A is going to be at its average mean ability and dog B is going to be at its average ability. And so by looking at what they're, unless you've done a lot of work, right? If you've done a lot of work, then maybe you've turned the right genes on in both dogs. And if you've done a crappy amount of work, maybe you've turned off the right genes in both dogs, or turned on the wrong genes in both dogs. Um, so that's what I'm getting at.
Somebody had a question, if you don't mind. He said, if you had three dogs in your house, would you recommend two males and a female, or one male and two females?
Well, I would not recommend three gladiators. You'd have to have one dog that was a non-gladiator, and I would probably recommend a female. If it's not a gladiator dog, it probably doesn't really matter which gender it is. If it's going to be submissive and non-combative, and probably smaller as well. Like we were talking about the Shih Tzu earlier.
Yeah.
I just don't like. Um, I believe everybody in the household should bring something to the table as soon as they're capable. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not talking about little children or babies. They will bring something to the table later on when they grow up. I'm not talking about an elderly person that's not capable because they already paid their dues. So we're talking, and I'm not talking about an injured person that got hurt in a car wreck. Obviously, that's beyond their capability. That's not their fault. But when you have um, a being living in the house, life is hard for all of us, man. Why would I choose a breed that doesn't bring something to the table? So, like, my mom wanted, like, the Lhasa Apso, or what was it? Yeah, it was the Lhasa Apso because it would bark when somebody was coming. So it brought something to the table. It wasn't a guard dog, but it was a watchdog. A watchdog would watch for somebody coming to the door and let you know if somebody's at the door. Um, but I just didn't like the Lhasa Apso. I was in high school, so I wasn't really a I had a golden retriever, so that was my dog, when I was in high school. But
Yeah.
if you opened that door, that Lhasa Apso with that long white hair would run out, get in the mud, roll in the mud, piss in the house, crap in the house. It was just I hated that dog.
So Lee, so the hypotheticals. So if you got two sentinels, of course, and you got a male and female, what's gonna be your third dog then?
Well, you can have three dogs in the house if you're present, but when you're not there, the combative nature of a combative breed is going to come out and somebody's going to get killed. You're going to have an ugly situation. So that third dog needs to be a non-combative breed. And even then, you're taking a chance.
So
I
you
just
just
don't think it's advisable. I mean, if a person wants to do it, if a person wants three dogs, they need to be non-combative breeds. I've seen Borbles, in packs and whatnot, but they're not really individual gladiators. They're more like pack gladiators. It's the crowd is confident, but the individual's not. I don't like that. I like a confident individual.
right. Yeah.
There's there's of course exceptions to that. I'm sure there are exceptions where there are some horribles that are very confident individuals. But when you have really confident, combative individuals, and by combative I mean they're not going to be pushed around.
Yeah.
You have two individuals that are both alpha mentality. Somebody's going to say this is my stake, and the other one's going to say no, this is my stake. And next thing you know, they're not going to yield because they're confident individuals. This is my stake. No, this is my house. You can't have two alphas. There's only one alpha male, one alpha female, and some people even debate that. But I still kind of follow that philosophy. I don't know if you knew about a wolf pack, but there's only one female that generally comes in heat. But even though she comes in heat and she has the pups, some of the subordinate females will actually lactate and help nurse those pups, even though they're not theirs.
Oh wow. So they're like foster moms.
Yep, they'll
Wow.
help and there's a reason for that biologically, and that's because the alpha female is probably the better hunter. So if she's the better hunter, she needs to hunt, and the other subordinate females can help nurse.
Oh, wow. I see you dropping gems, man. I appreciate that, D. So you saying if you had a so you saying that genetics is more important than epigenetics.
They're both important, but you can only select for performance. You don't know if the genes are. I can't look in the. I mean, actually, we're getting it to a point now with um, genetic testing where we might eventually be able to look to see what genes are turned on and what genes are turned off. But the old school way, we didn't have the mapping of the genotype, the matching of the genome. Uh, Without gene mapping, embark and whatnot, to see what all's in the genes, we don't know what genes are turned on or turned off. We just know the performance. We can see the phenotype. And by phenotype, I don't mean just the physical appearance. We also can see the behavior, which is a behavioral phenotype. The word phenotype doesn't mean physical appearance. It means the trait that is expressed. So if some things that are expressed are like hair color, eye color, coat color, body size. These are physical things that you can see, but there's behavioral phenotype as well, like prey drive, aggression. These are behavioral phenotypes, what we see being expressed. Did I lose you?
No, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here.
So, we just nature doesn't do a genetics test. Nature does a performance test. You win or you lose.
Makes sense. It definitely makes sense.
The
Uh,
performance test is the genetics test.
so the performance test, yeah, because you either sink or you swim in a wall. It ain't no.
Right. You
Nobody,
either got it or you don't.
yeah, it ain't no welfare system. It ain't no.
You can develop certain skills. Like I've seen some people say, you don't teach a fish to swim, you don't teach a dog to bite. That's complete nonsense. Mammals definitely give their predatory mammals. Let me rephrase.
Yeah.
Predatory mammals definitely give their offspring wounded game to learn how to hunt. That's because they develop that skill. Now, the less practice they have, guess what? The less successful they are at hunting. They definitely can learn, and when they are successful, those hormones that we talked about earlier, the right ones rise, the wrong ones fall, and then next thing you know, they get better at it.
So based on your education, Lee, what would you say is the most intelligent mammal? Was it like an elephant or a whale? What would you see
The most
besides
intelligent,
besides humans, of course?
the bonobosate,
Oh, for real? Oh, okay, okay.
the bonobosate and the chimpanzee are certainly going to be the most intelligent. But if you get once you get outside of the apes, um, well, it's not a mammal; it's a bird. The
Oh,
crow is the
yeah.
raven. The raven is actually very intelligent. They have a language capacity of like a 4-year-old child.
Wow.
The raven, the blackbird.
I seen videos. I just found that out recently. I was
Yep,
like, wow.
yep,
So
they're
it's not
very
the size of the brain, because of course their brains is smaller than dogs.
Yeah, it has to do with the wrinkles in the brain and the relationship to body mass. Because they don't need as big a brain because their body's not as big, so they don't have as many parts to sense and whatnot. But so I'm assuming that's how it works. I'm not quite sure. Maybe their nerves are smaller. I don't know, but it has to do with brain size to body mass ratio.
Mm. Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah,
They say the whales and porpoise and dolphin, they're pretty intelligent.
yeah, I heard. Yeah, them killer whales are amazing. Yeah, them
Yeah.
orcas. Yeah,
Yep.
those are intelligent. Dogs are intelligent. I
I
mean,
would have to. I'd have to say predator animals are probably more intelligent than prey animals.
let me think about. Yeah, well, is the elephant prey or they just not? They like the top dog.
Well, yeah, they're a herbivore, but I wouldn't call them prey. What
Yeah,
eats an
they not
elephant?
prey. Yeah, they can do
Um,
some damage. Yeah,
you know, uh, it makes sense that predators are more intelligent than prey because I can tell you during my most stressful times of life, what do you think happens to our intelligence when cortisol goes up? Our intelligence goes down.
yeah,
So if you're a deer or a squirrel and you're always being hunted, your cortisol levels are probably pretty high. So you're alert and reactive, alert and reactive. Watch and run, watch and run, watch and run. That's about all you can really think about.
I mean
But
that's the point. Yeah,
predators, they have to be strategic.
yeah. Yeah, that's you made it easy for me. Yeah, from the yeah, yeah. Like, you right though, because you gotta be super intelligent to set a trap, to sit there and be patient. You gotta be smart to hunt because those prey animals they be like super fast. They be running like cheetah. How fast the cheetah lead? Like 70 something, but
Yeah, I
stuff
think it's like
they see
70
like
miles an hour.
50 and 60. They like 50 and 60, and they turning. So you gotta be like on a different level,
Yeah,
to
they're
do that.
70. Yep, yep. I like the bobcats more than the cheetah though.
Yeah, cheetahs. I don't like cheetahs like because they weak too. They get their stuff taken off. They not that. I don't like cheetahs. I'm sorry, y'all. If y'all love cheetahs, cheetahs is weak. Like they just fast to me. Deer. So anything else you wanted to say?
No, that's it. I just wanted to mention that epigenetics is always trapped within the genetic limit. The genetics only let you go so far. For example, if I go out in the sun, I get more tan. If
Yeah,
I lose the sun, my skin gets lighter. But I can only get so much. I cannot get as light and dark as other people. My brother, he's a redheaded person, so he's got pale skin. He's much lighter than I am, and obviously I'm lighter than you are. So there's ranges,
right.
And if we all had the same amount of sun, we're gonna still be. My brother will be lighter than me. I'll be lighter than you. But if we all had, more sun, we all have the same amount, then it's getting changed. But if my brother had a lot of sun and I had very little, he might get darker than me. But on average, that's not what happens.
That's a yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah. So um this weekend the surprise. I'm sure you're gonna be doing it, Lee. Yeah. So this weekend that was the surprise. I'm coming to Mississippi, baby, working
You
some
got
dogs.
did you
Yeah.
get your car? Did you get your car fixed?
I should have it by Thursday. But even if I don't, I'm gonna get a rental.
There you go.
So I talked to them yesterday. They should have it by Thursday. So I give them a grace till Friday. But I'll be down there Saturday and Sunday, work some dogs with Lee, and
Hey,
maybe Lee will give them some more information. And
sounds good.
I can't wait though. But I appreciate you, Lee, man.
Well, thank you for having me in. You have a blessed night.
Thanks for clarifying. All right, man. Peace.
All right. Yep. Bye.
So there you got it. A special guest, H. Lee Robinson, and y'all heard it. Y'all heard it here. I'll be going to Mississippi this weekend. My car been out, but I should have it back Thursday. I got my fingers crossed. Got my fingers crossed. Let me see. Yeah, so I'll be going down there. I'm gonna take Jaguar with me. I'm gonna take Chakra down there. So you're gonna be seeing some videos working with Aiden. That's his name, Aiden Gonzalez, representing Dallas Takeoffs. And yeah, we'll see how y'all get to see Jaguar in action, and y'all get to see Chakra in action. And not just that, I get down there, gain some more knowledge, and we just keep growing together as a unit, as a team. Teamwork make the dream work. And like I said, once again, I appreciate Lee because I never even knew he was even in the chat. I can't see like certain lives you can see like on TikTok, you can see who's actually in there. Unless if y'all don't say nothing, then I don't know. If y'all don't say nothing, Chakra, wait up. If y'all don't say nothing, I don't know. So yeah. See you visit. Okay, I try to. I do a Nah, I appreciate you, Lee. I do a yard tour. Nova won't. I don't know if Nova won't be there because Nova is with Keaton Temple, but Ranger will be there. So I'll at least get Ranger. I do a yard tour for y'all. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all like to see Lee's state-of-the-art yard. You know what I mean? So we'll do that right there and just have some fun. You know, and have some fun. You know, I love working the dogs, and like I said, this would be her only second session. So this would be only her second time. So, you know, I've been working with her. So what I do is I go to a session, I'll be like, okay, what they do. It's like you got to keep data and you got to read your dogs and see what they're good at, see what they weak at, see what they need to do. So we're going to work it right there. We're going to let Jaguar work on the full suit. Jaguar. Get him, boy. Jaguar. Habla. 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 But yeah, we're gonna be there. We're gonna be there this weekend. Mississippi, Brandon, Mississippi. Stop playing with me. Once again, I appreciate everybody on there. This is Students of the Game, episode 6. I'll be back Thursday for sure. And if I can squeeze in Friday, I gotta get prepared. So I probably won't be here Friday. I know I'm gonna be back Thursday with another Students of the Game. I might squeeze one in tomorrow, but then y'all gonna have a whole lot of footage, God willing. Make it to Mississippi. I bring my tablet. We'll do do some interviews, a yard thing, so y'all can see what's happening. Okay, yeah. Just let me know in the thing so I won't forget because sometimes you get you know how you get somewhere you just kind of forget though for sure. Congo and Bullet. I look forward to seeing Kimura. I look forward to seeing. Be honest with you, I look forward to seeing all the dogs work in person because that's gonna be exciting to me. I'm used to them. I see them every day. So, but it's gonna be nice to see all the other dogs working. You know, my man Jared gonna be down there. He got Knox. Knox is Jaguar head brother, and Lee and Ryan and Aiden bringing somebody with him that got a Slam and Luna puppy. Y'all probably seen the videos. Slam and Luna is that's Slam and Luna litter. Slam and Elsa and Slam and Luna litter are looking really nice. You know what I mean? So he gonna bring them on there. And like I said, we just gonna have some fun and just learn. That's what the name of the game is, man. We got these dogs. The name of the game is just be a student and learn and have fun and pass on information. Don't try to gatekeep information. If you got some information that can be helpful, share the information if people are receptive to it. We all know some people hard-headed. They don't want to learn. They got to learn on their own. But if you got information that can help somebody, why not share it? It's not a contest. And once again, we out of here. Say bye to the people, man. He does, yeah. Annual event. Yep. Peace out, y'all. Come on, Jack.